Have you ever thought one of the following things? I've eaten the chocolate now, I might as well ditch the diet till Monday, past the ice cream. If I can't lift heavy weights, then there's just no point. Or I don't want to commit to walking if I can't do it every day. If so, you might be suffering from all or nothing thinking. In this video, I'll explain what it is, why it can derail your health goals, particularly the food-related ones, and how to deal with it. And I'll also give you a handy psychological tip that will help you stick to your new habits. And if we've not met, hi, I'm Ruth, and I make videos all about healthy habits, but specifically aimed at women over 50. And if you're returning, then thank you for supporting my little channel. So all or nothing thinking, well, it's otherwise known as black and white or dichotomous thinking, and it's what's known as a cognitive distortion. Now, this is a slightly dodgy thought pattern, and it involves thinking in extremes, so all or nothing, the black and the white, and ignoring the grey area in between. And when it shows up in our health efforts, it can really derail us with thoughts like, well, I've missed one workout now, so I've failed, and well, if I can't do this thing perfectly, then why should I bother? And that sense of failure is why it's not a very healthy thought pattern, because it chips away at your resilience, it drains at your self-compassion, and it gives you a healthy dose of feeling guilt or shame. And at one end of the scale, it can give you burnout from that pressure to achieve, and at the other end, completely abandoning your goals. And this is what leads to avoiding exercise and yo-yo dieting. Now, black and white thinking is seen in perfectionism, and perfectionism has been linked to depression, anxiety, and emotional eating. And we're already vulnerable to mood changes in the menopause, so we don't need more unhelpful thoughts just adding into the mix. So where does all of this come from? Well, as I've said, it can be linked to perfectionism, and that can start young. And food is a particularly ripe area for unhelpful thought patterns because we can't avoid it. It's not something like, say, skydiving or pottery that you don't do every day or indeed ever. You have to eat. So it's more common for those unhelpful thoughts to slip in uninvited. And for a lot of Generation X women, there's this legacy of diet culture. Our baby boomer parents, well, they grew up in the 60s and the 70s when being thin was in and the messaging was anything but subtle. Now, growing up in the 80s, I remember the low-fat diet yogurts, the low-fat cottage cheese on Ryvita, and your mum eating half a grapefruit for breakfast with one of those special serrated spoons. Do they even exist anymore? And then there were the fad diets, like the cabbage soup diet, best forgotten. And as an aside, as part of my research for this video, I found a beautiful timeline of fad diets. My personal favourites being the 2010 baby food diet, the 1964 drinking man's diet, the mind boggles, and my particular favourite, the 1820 water and vinegar diet, which sounds blooming awful. Anyway, I digress. My point is that black and white thinking is really common in dieting. So we try the latest diet and we stick to it religiously. Now, this is fine for a couple of days or weeks, maybe even a couple of months, but at some point it's going to get difficult. And that's because there's two problems with the human brain. Number one, it likes to rebel, so it doesn't like being restricted. So if I said to you, you can never ever eat pizza again, not even a bite, not even one with pineapple on, you might be okay at first, but at some point I guarantee you're going to start really craving pizza. And this is why restrictive diets, well, they don't work in the long term, because at some point you're going to want the thing you're not allowed. And number two, the brain's negativity bias. We've all got one. It's an evolutionary hangover, and it means we focus on the bad thing rather than all the good things. So instead of remembering your nutritious eggy breakfast or your lovely protein-rich salad at lunch, you're going to zero straight in on the pizza, which then increases the likelihood that you're going to go blow it. You know, the diet is done. I'm going to indulge all weekend in all the things I've not been allowing myself past the ice cream, and then start again on Monday. So it's not your fault. The brain is just doing what it's wired to do. But the problem with black and white thinking is it leaves no room for balance, and the same goes for dieting. So what would be helpful is if you didn't cut out anything that you didn't want to. You ate nutritious food most of the time, and you left a little space for the less nutritious stuff that you enjoy. This is, in my opinion, great advice, but it's not very sexy and it doesn't sell many books. And perhaps I should write a book called The Common Sense Guide to Eating by Ruth. You heard it here first. And on that note, with a not too obvious segue, I also write a newsletter. So if you would like that winging its way to your inbox every Friday, where I share some thoughts, I go a little deeper on a topic from the week, and hey, the occasional recipe too. Sign up below, I'll leave a link. So how do we combat it? Well, the way to deal with black and white thinking is to put yourself in that area in the middle, in the grey zone, and start challenging your own brain. So firstly, notice that it's happening. Think, perhaps that's one of those pesky all or nothing thoughts. This shifts your awareness and takes you out of those automatic thought loops. Then challenge it. Is this really black or white? Or is there a plausible explanation in the middle? And then reframe it. Offer yourself an alternative thought, one that's more realistic and a little kinder. So let's work through an example. Let's say I set myself the challenge of walking every day, but it's not happened for the last 2 days because yesterday I had the day from hell at work and today I'm knackered and I just don't feel like it because it's raining. I'm trying to make it realistic here. It is usually raining in England. And then my perfectionist voice kicks in saying, you can't even stick to a daily walk. What is the point? You're such a failure. And now I'm feeling pretty bad about myself, but I've noticed it so I can challenge it. Do you need to walk every day? Yes. Why? Well, because I have to stick to my fitness goals and you need 10,000 steps a day to be healthy. Everyone knows that. Do they? Yes. Well, maybe. So what's better for you, walking for 4 days a week or sitting on the sofa for 7? Well, when you put it like that, 4 days, clearly. And have you walked for 4 days this week? Yes. Well, there you go. You've done something really positive for your health. Yay, go you. Thanks. Feel better? Yeah. Want a brew? Go on then. And quick side note on the walking. Most people know that the statistic of doing 10,000 steps a day, well, that was made up by a Japanese pedometer company in the 1960s. What you might not know is that in the last couple of years, there's been a couple of meta-analyses looking at the optimum number of steps that we should be doing every day for good cardiovascular or heart health. And the sweet spot is somewhere between 7,000 and 9,000. And finally, here's that handy psychological trick I promised you, the concept of built-in wiggle room. In a series of experiments, people were put into 3 groups. One group had to do something every day for 7 days. The second group had to do it for 5 days. And the third group, they were told to do it for 7 days, but they were allowed 2 emergency days off. And that last group, the group with the inbuilt flexibility, well, they did better. They usually walked for 6 or 7 days rather than 5. So having that permission to be imperfect helped them succeed. So next time you're considering a health goal, build in a plan B. So if plan A is walk every day for 7 days, plan B is do it for 5, and it's okay because life happens. Your brain will thank you for it. And if you want to know my 4-step process for restarting your health journey if you've been derailed and are feeling a bit crap about yourself, I'll leave it here and I'll see you there.